This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. Happy Halloween, everybody. So we'll see if we get you some tricks or some treats tonight, Lee. Depends on how it all goes. But we got a lot to get to. We got 4 football plays, UFC from the Apex in Vegas on Saturday. So a lot of action. So let's jump right into it, Lee. Saturday, ACC, Georgia Tech and NC State. Time now for our blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out. Turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
So, of course, everyone predicted, Lee, that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets would be sitting atop the ACC at 8-0 so far in the season as the Ramblin' Wreck heads to Raleigh to take on NC State Saturday night. And Georgia Tech a 5.5-point favorite in this one. Lee, what do you like here with the Jackets and the Wolfpack?
Well, I'm sitting pretty. That was one of my preseason selections that we gave out to our clients over under. So identified them. They were one of the teams we liked a lot and still like them just as much. They're not taking really any key injuries, and that's the key. They are one of the 6 undefeated teams. They are finding ways to win. And even when they started poorly, that first game, I think it was Baylor, they just were awful to start the game and then came on and they run the ball a lot more than most teams in these power conferences, but they have a system and it works. They're finding ways to win. NC State is finding ways to lose. In fact, NC State has dropped 4 of the last 5 games. The only game that they won was against Campbell College. I like their quarterback, C.J. Bailey, played at Chaminade down here, won, I think it was the mythical high school national championship. He's really good, but his one weakness, throws interceptions. With his 17 touchdowns, he has 7 interceptions, and he lost his best target, Justin Jolly, who has 36 receptions on the year and 5 touchdowns. It's his number 1 receiver. It's his security blanket, loves to go to him when can't find anyone else, and he loves to go down the middle of the field with him. So they're going to have to change their whole game plan. Their defense has been horrendous, and that's why I think they might have a coaching change. Defense only 11 sacks in the 8 games, back to only 7 turnovers in the 8 games, 5 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries here. Their defense is their weakest part, and he just can't recruit good defensive players. They don't have a guy that you're afraid of and need to identify where he is on the defensive line, linebacker position, or in the secondary here. So you're thinking, laying points on the road. Well, sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it here. I'm going to go with a blowout special to start our Friday show here. I think Georgia Tech wins this game 31-21 over NC State.
And you already have hit 2 college winners here on the show. Missouri State on Wednesday against FIU, and the over you hit the over of Marshall and Coastal Carolina actually on our shorts. If you want to check out the shorts on YouTube at Locked On Bets, you hit that one. So if you caught that one, then you were a winner there. Pretty easy. That one hit actually in the 3rd quarter. Before we get to the NFL Hidden Gem, we don't have any plays on the World Series coming up. Game 6 tonight in Toronto as things head back there. Blue Jays now 2 shots to close it out after winning the last 2 in LA. Yamamoto, who shut down the Blue Jays in Game 2 and pitched a complete game. Now back-to-back complete games for him. Kevin Gausman goes for Toronto in Game 6. No official plays here, but any thoughts on Game 6, Lee?
I would probably favor the Dodgers to tie it up, but sometimes the best play is no play. So I will watch the game, and if Toronto closes it out, so be it. My last play for my clients was a Toronto plus 170 win in Game 5. So, people out there playing There's some handicappers playing like 40, 50, 60 games on a Saturday, 15, 20, 30 games on a Sunday. Are they out of their minds? I mean, unless you're betting pizzas on these games, you're not going to win. The juice is going to eat you alive. So it would take me an hour and a half to grade all those games. So try to be selective. And when I feel I have the edge, that's when I fire and bet it and I give it to my clients. You have any feel on the game?
I don't. And you know what, too? If this has been such a long baseball season, and I don't like the idea. I know what we do here. I'm kind of like defeating the purpose of what we do. But I don't think you need to have a play in every single game, especially like, oh, it's game 6 of the World Series. You got to have a play on it. No, you don't. You don't have to have a play on it if you don't want. If it gets a game 7 coming up Saturday, you don't have to have a play on it. You can just watch the game and enjoy it. I mean, maybe there's one thing you like, but you don't have to. And the best part about what we do is there's always something the next day. You go into Saturday, college football, Sunday, NFL, Monday, college basketball starts. Like there's things going on that you don't have to just pull the trigger on these games just because they are in the championship round. So
let me show you what I have, Kevin. So this is a notebook here.
Yeah.
And I take notes while I'm watching games. And then I look back, and the next day when I start studying games, I end up looking at my notes. And a lot of times, some of my best plays are from notes that I took down in that game. And I also put everything in the computer. You know, sometimes a week, a month later, I see something. Let's say a certain quarterback, just giving you something that's pretty broad. I see a quarterback that has trouble against, cover one defenses. And, if I see something like that and he's facing a defense like that 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, can pay dividends. So I take notes. It helps me out and look at for the next day or the next game. And then anything that's in the future, I put it in the computer.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be something you don't have a bet on that game, but you notice something or like, oh, a few weeks down the road, oh, I remember that from that game, and then it goes back, and you never know. It's not just things you learn from the games you bet on; it's also the game you don't bet on. So, with that being said, we're going to go to Sunday's action now, and time for our NFL Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
The Green Bay Packers were very impressive Sunday night. So, I mean, Jordan Love was great against Pittsburgh. And what do you have, 20 straight completions or something like that at one point of that game? And the Packers had a really good road victory over the Steelers. And that NFC North, we know how tight it is at the top, the Packers and the Lions. But the Packers nearly a 2-touchdown favorite here against Carolina at Lambeau Field on Sunday. Bryce Young's expected back for the Panthers after he missed last Sunday's blowout loss to the Bills with an ankle injury. Just a terrible spot for Carolina. Buffalo was off the bye. They had lost 2 consecutive games, and you knew Buffalo would come back and play well. I mean, they played that well, but they blew out Carolina. Andy Dalton wasn't right. He has a thumb injury, and it was a bad spot for Carolina. But now they're going on the road. Most points Carolina is receiving this season. I know Carolina is not great on the road, but when you look back at some of the point spreads from earlier in the year when they faced Jacksonville, they were getting 4.5. When they faced Arizona, they were getting 7.5. That was the game they got a backdoor cover. Even New England, they were getting 5.5. But now they're getting 13.5 against Green Bay. I know they've been blown out a few times this year against the likes of Buffalo, New England. But still, I think this is too many points. Remember last year, they almost beat Philadelphia as nearly a 2-touchdown underdog. And for Green Bay, they have not been a great favorite so far this season. I guess I should say a heavier favorite because they were laying 2.5 against Pittsburgh, but laid 7 at Arizona, barely won that game, laid 15 against Cincinnati, held off the Bengals. They tied Dallas laying 6.5. They lost outright at Cleveland laying 7.5. So just too many points, I think, laying here for the Packers. So we're going to go with the Carolina Panthers, Lee, as our hidden gem coming up Sunday at Lambeau.
Okay. You might have to hold your nose and get a backdoor cover there. So
that's you got to do it, but it's the NFL. I mean, we've seen some silly stuff happen,
Absolutely.
I mean, the Jets
and the public, what they see last almost always is what they bet. And they saw Green Bay, and I mean, they looked unbelievable. They dominated in the second half. So, are they going to play that well again? Probably not.
No, and also for Green Bay, Yeah, they were great, and they were on national TV. Like, it was all right there for them. And Carolina sucked last week against Buffalo with Andy Dalton, who's 50. So they need to get back to Bryce Young, and I think that Carolina will be more competitive coming up Sunday against the Packers. All right, we still have UFC to get to. We still have SEC, a big one in Austin between Texas and Vanderbilt, and a Sunday lock in the NFL. So still a lot to get to here as we continue our scary, scary Halloween edition of Locked On Bets. Time now to talk about FanDuel, and we are in the midst of Week 9 of the NFL. Looking forward to Sunday's action. Chiefs and Bills, that's the one a lot of people have their eye on coming up Sunday. FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. You get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you bet on? Just mention the Chiefs, Bills. You want to take the side. You want to take the total. You want to take the money line. The game's in Buffalo. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen props. You want to look at maybe some of those perhaps and take a shot at that. Also, plenty of other games coming up Sunday. And then Monday Night Football, college basketball starts on Monday. But as far as the NFL goes at FanDuel, you could bet on the MVP. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs right now is the favorite. You could bet on Super Bowl champion. Chiefs are the favorite. AFC champion, NFC champion. All of these choices you have, player props, all there at FanDuel. And again, college basketball starts on Monday. College football, another big weekend coming up. World Series. Could wrap up Friday in Toronto. Could get to a Game 7 on Saturday. NHL, NBA, so many things there. Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue here on a Friday edition of Locked On Bets, final day of October. So that's exciting, heading into Dovember, as Lee Sterling likes to call it. And now we will get to UFC. It's coming up in the Apex in Vegas on Saturday. Time now for Bet a Little, Win a Lot.
They say you'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So bet a little, win a lot.
All right, Lee. So the Apex, Saturday, UFC. What do you like in Vegas?
All right. So there's a fight. It's the first fight on the main card. It's going to if the main card starts at 7, about 7:10, 7:15. And it's a fight between Alan Nascimento. This is for the flyweights and lightest division, 125 pounds, fighting a fighter named Cody Durden. So you have this fighter, Alan Nascimento, who rarely fights. He's only fought 3 times the last 3 years. He's actually, I think, had 6 fights canceled the last 3.5 years. Crazy. He got injured. Few others. The other fighter got injured. I mean, I've never seen a fighter that wants to fight but can't fight due to injuries and that many cancellations. So he must have another job on the side because he's not making enough money because he's not a ranked fighter. So that has to hurt him. I know that Cody Durden is always training. He's one of these guys out of Atlanta. He was a state wrestling champion. He's kind of evolved. He's more now, even though he wrestles, he also likes stand-up, and he likes to duke it out. Nascimento is not much of a striker. Kicks he's more of a submission guy. Unless you're a really high submission guy and a guy that dominates, that's where Durden's had his problem. He's lost some fights. He's lost 4 of the last 5 fights, but to all ranked fighters. And one of them, Van's going to be fighting for the championship. So they've thrown him up against some really good fighters here. You can't judge his record. I think it's 16-7-1. You have to judge it more on the matchup here. I think he has the edge here in striking. I would be shocked if he gets submitted. He's one of these guys. One time, I think he was holding on. A guy had a leg lock or something. He had almost anyone else would have submitted. He held on for like a minute and a half, ended up winning the fight. It happened in the second round. So tough guy, ranked 15th, probably never going to fight a guy in the top 5, top 7 as he's ascending. He's just going to fight usually guys coming up and that's his role. But plus 220, 230. I mean, I think that's crazy here. I think he should be plus 130 to 150. So I think they've lined this fight wrong because he's came in on short notice, came in 8 days before the fight, but he's always training. So I don't think that's a problem. They're actually not fighting at 125. They're fighting at a catch weight, 130 pounds. He didn't have enough time to make the weight. So I think that favors him here. I'm going to go with Cody Durden, anywhere from plus 220 to plus 250 here. Bet a little, win a lot. UFC Fight Night from the Octagon on Saturday night, starts about 7:15 Eastern.
All right, so looking forward to that among a busy day on Saturday. And in college football, in the SEC, Vanderbilt visits Texas, and nobody would have ever thought the day would have come that the Texas Longhorns would be a 2.5-point home favorite against Vanderbilt. But here we are, and now time for wrong team favorite.
What the
WTF.
All right, so it's full disclosure here. Arch Manning is still questionable for this game after Texas rallied past Mississippi State last week, concussion protocol. Vanderbilt comes in, one loss, losing to Alabama, but they've been fantastic. And you wonder, again, Clark Lee, if he'll end up staying or if something bigger is out there for him, considering turnaround the Vanderbilt program is pretty impressive. But what do you like here, Lee? Vandy visiting Austin against the Hook'em Horns.
Yeah, I mean, if you told someone years ago that Vanderbilt is going to be close to a pick'em at Texas, they would tell you, you are absolutely nuts. In fact, so I'm dating myself a little bit here, but the year before I went to college, quarterback at Palmetto went to Vanderbilt, became a safety, and he told me stories that they were so bad that I think they didn't play anyone one week, and someone in the band came up to him and told him, beat open. So, I mean, it's pretty bad when the band is making fun of you. Then he said the next week, the guy told him, beat the point spread. So Vanderbilt has been an absolute disaster, but, you know, they've turned it around. And Diego Pavia is one of the main reasons here. They have a really good coach, really good offensive coordinator. Probably not going to play in the NFL, might have to play in the CFL, but kid's exciting. Since the start of last year, 15-6 against the spread. Tells you they've exceeded expectations. Texas, since a 4-0 start last year against the spread, 6-14 against the spread. And that's a lot of NIL money they spent. Back the last 2 weeks, they'd go to overtime to beat Kentucky and Mississippi State, two of the 3 or 4 bottom feeders in the SEC. If that was Nick Saban doing that, they would be, I mean, all over him, telling him maybe he needs to think about retiring. But for some reason, you know, they're able to get by. Now, in the win last week in overtime, they were aided by a punt return. They were down by 10 points, and punt return, I think, ended up tying up the game with a couple minutes to go in the game. A couple weeks earlier against Oklahoma, it was back and forth, and punt return put them on their way to winning that game. So those have been the two biggest plays for them this year, have been on special teams. So we don't know completely the status of Arch Manning. I would guess he's probably going to play, but if he can't play, it's not like he's great. They're going to go to a kid named Matthew Caldwell. Well, Matthew Caldwell is held in such low regard that he bounced around from Jacksonville State to Gardner-Webb to Troy and then to Texas. He started a total of 5 games, and he's thrown 8 interceptions. Yikes. So if Texas is counting on another punt return for a touchdown, I wouldn't bet on it and bet on them. Their offensive line is also a huge problem. They gave up 12 tackles for loss last week against Mississippi State here. I think Diego Pavia is going to do it again. People laughed probably when they saw the schedule, thinking Texas is going to roll, but here it is. Wrong team favored. Vanderbilt +3 in Austin, wins this game straight up 24-20.
And by the way, too, another note on that Oklahoma game, John Mateer was off the surgery, and that was his first game back after the hand injury. So he wasn't even close to 100%. And Oklahoma still hung in that game for a bit. If he was healthy, that probably changes things a little bit. So we'll see how that one turns out if Vandy can pull off another win inside the SEC. Coming up, we'll take a look at the NFL, the 49ers, and the Giants coming up. The Giants a bit dinged up. We'll see if San Francisco can take advantage. Our lock of the day is coming up next right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Friday. Happy Halloween to all that are watching. And I am Kevin Rogers, along with Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. The San Francisco Giants are not playing in this game, but the San Francisco 49ers are, because they're playing the New York Giants. See, I caught myself there. And the Niners struggled against Houston last week, but now they got to head back out east to take on the Giants, and the Giants are dealing with injuries, and they're off a loss to the Eagles. So with all that being said, Lee, it's time for our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
It's safe to say the Giants may have run out of miracles here. Cam Skattebo, he's done. Look, they had a nice win over the Chargers. They beat the Eagles at home, but I think it may be kind of hard for them here as an underdog to the 49ers on Sunday at MetLife Stadium, Lee.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And what happened last week when he got hurt, Skattebo, I mean, you saw Jackson Dart just go. He turned away, couldn't look at it. The air was let out of that team. They had nothing left the rest of the game. I'm sure, they'll tell you that they tried as hard as they did, but they were done mentally and physically. On the other hand, San Francisco, bad setup for them last week. They had to face a Houston team. Remember, Houston head coach and a lot of members of the staff had been with San Francisco. They knew their schemes. That was a big advantage to them. And wasn't like it was a, division game. Seems like San Francisco gets up for these division games more than anything. So they go to Houston. Houston defense looked great. They played about as hard as they played all year. And so people were remembering what they saw last. And San Francisco didn't look great. I think they match up real well here with the Giants. I think they're going to be able to run on them. Then they'll use play action. They'll have a lot of second and short, third and short, and they'll be able to throw on this Giants secondary. The only way the Giants pass rush is really effective if they have to throw the ball. Opponents second and long, third and long, and I just don't see San Francisco with their running game being in that kind of situation. So, like I said, great setup here, and this is the game San Francisco needs. It's a conference game here. Okay, they lost last week. They get back on track here. They'll be fighting for the division lead here all season long. I'm going to lay the 2.5. Do it now. Don't wait until Saturday night or Sunday. This line will probably go up to 3.5. It's going to be a level 3 lock. We're going to go all the way up.
I don't know how many other weapons Jackson Dart can find. I mean, with Neighbors out, Skattebo out, and it's too bad because, Neighbors is an upper tier receiver. Skattebo was having a really good year, and Dart can only run so much. So We'll see how that one turns out coming up Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Very busy weekend, Lee, with all the college football, with the NFL Sunday, with college basketball beginning Monday. So a lot going on, and it's Dovember. So tell us all about it now at Paramount Sports.
All right, so we rate our games from 10 to 50 units on our executive phone service. And going back 17 years when we went to that rating system, we probably average about 140 to 50 unit game a month. We've had a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, where we've had 240 to 50 unit games in one weekend. First time ever. Not 1, not 2, 3 40 to 50 unit max wagers go this weekend. 2 in college football, and 1's a 50 unit play, and 1 in the NFL. We're 73-29 lifetime on these 40 to 50 unit max wagers. So you want to hop on board? Like I said, not November, it's November. You can get 5 weeks of games starting tonight all the way through Sunday, November 30th. That's 5 weeks of action. Normally $497. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $397. What are you waiting for? Greatest offer, biggest weekend of games as far as units we've ever had. Also, we've got a UFC fight. That's right. Big UFC fight. Went 4-1 last week in the UFC. Hit our 50-unit max wager. Another 5 selections in the Apex. Gave you one fight that didn't quite make our card. Hopefully that comes in for you. But don't wait until after the results. 5 selections, $35. And one of them is a 40-unit max wager. We're 26-12 on those since the beginning of 2024. And World Series got going tonight. We've got hockey, red hot in hockey again. NBA won again last night. So just one place. Everything's going on. ParamountSports.com, or call me. Love to speak to you if you have any questions. 800-400-9741.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. And Lee hit the Ravens on Thursday. Isaiah Likely had that one big catch that went over. So staying red hot here on the show. The podcast version you could find as well, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you could find your podcast, Locked On Bets. You could find Lee on X at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. And again, we appreciate you tuning in. Another good month in the books. And when we talk to you again on Monday, we'll be in November. So that is coming up on Monday. So for Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Best of luck this weekend. And again, we appreciate you tuning in to Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.